So today we're going to have a quick look around the college for about half an hour. I'm going to show you some of the communal spaces. We're going to go and take a look in the boarding, and hopefully we'll get to pop up in some of the classrooms. We do have exams going on at the moment, students taking their mock exams as they prepare for the full summer exam. So it is a bit of a, there are quite a lot of students sitting exams, so it might be a little bit difficult to see an actual working class, but we'll pop in and show some of the spaces and hopefully answer all your questions. We will record the session, so we'll be able to send you a copy of the recording. Occasionally, when I'm walking around the campus doing a virtual tour, the internet does drop out, especially when we're in stairwells and areas like that where we have concrete walls. But if it does drop out at any point, we will reconnect as soon as I come into another space, so don't worry too much. Okay, excellent. What we're going to do, I'm going to try and flip the camera around, so hopefully people can see what I'm seeing. And here we are. So we are in the main entrance of the college. This is our reception area where students come into the main building. We have our lovely reception team here who are here during the school day. We also have security on campus, so there's always someone around for students. Students who live off campus in one of our off-campus boarding houses, this will be the main entrance point to the college. And obviously students who are day students, students who live independently. Also, this is a bit of an area where students can come to get any information. If there's any packages or parcels, they'll get delivered here for students. We also have some of our student services team based in this area as well. So again, it's a really useful point of information for students. We will turn around and head towards the hall. Yesterday, we did have a lot of exams in here, but today I think it's clear, so we can have a little look in. Hopefully our internet works as we come in here. So this is our assembly hall. We use this for lots and lots of different functions. You can see at the moment it's set up for a bit of a teamwork group exercise. You can see the big screen there as well. So obviously we do our weekly and termly assemblies in here and big events like presentations and talks. We also use this for some sports. You can see the floor hopefully is kind of a sports floor. So we do things like badminton, table tennis in here as well. So students can use it as a bit of a space. Some of our clubs take place in here, like drama club. So it's a nice multi-purpose space. We also do things like movie nights here at weekends. In fact, we've got a Nowruz movie happening on Friday. So it's a nice movie space as well. We can put the bean bags out, have popcorn in here. And we also do music concerts. So if you take a look on any of our social media, you might see pictures and videos from recent music concerts with some of our students who perform in music clubs playing to the whole school. So it's a nice space that we can use for lots of different things. Just looking up onto the wall here, hopefully you can see that. These are our houses. Let me just go back so you can get a bit of a better view. So these are our Abbey houses. So students, when they come and join us, they become a member of one of these houses. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will probably see that they're named after Greek and Roman gods, have their own colours, and they have their own animal. Okay, so which house you're in when you join us, if you joined us in September, it depends on your age and the boarding house that you live in. So the idea is, obviously, we have about 400 students in the school, but in each house, there's about 50 students. So it's a smaller community of students who are on the same course, whether that be GCSE for the younger students or even Year 9, or the A-level programme or the foundation programme. And they become members of these houses with other students who are on those programmes and also who are living together in the boarding houses. You have a personal tutor that you meet with every morning as part of that tutor group, and they're in the house that you're in. And also, we have lots and lots of house activities. So different competitions, challenges, sports. We have a sports day coming up. And that encourages students to get involved in house activities. It also involves them, I'm just going to flip the camera around while I'm talking, so you can see me. It also encourages them to get involved in house activities, to get involved in school life. We also mix our nationalities. Obviously, as an international school, we have students from about 40 different countries studying with us. The most natural thing in the world when you come and join us in September in a new country in the UK is to go and find other students from where you're from. We don't stop students doing that, but in house activities, in school activities, we mix nationalities and we make sure that students are speaking English, because mastery of English is one of the key factors in enabling students to access the curriculum, to succeed in the British curriculum, obviously, but also to progress onto those top UK universities that we know our students are aiming for. Okay. Bear with me because I'm just flipping the camera. I've just got to do that manually. We'll take a walk out into the main school building. We may see some students walking around because they do have free time, especially the older students. You can see some of our cups and academic awards by the different subject. We're going to head down. You can see we have a little piano there for students to play. Like I say, we have a lot of musical students. We're going to head down to the main part of the building, down the corridor here. You may notice on the left-hand side, we have some pictures from some of our recent graduation ceremonies, which take place at Homerton College, which is one of the colleges, and also some of the academic results for our students. I won't linger on this too much because I'm sure you're aware, but we're very high achieving. We're a non-selective school, which means we take students from a range of different backgrounds with a range of different grade profiles when they come in, but we're very good at taking students up to where they're achieving top grades and progressing on some of the UK's top universities, both throughout the foundation programme and the A-level programme. Obviously, destination-wise, you may get a bit of glare there, but hopefully you can see that. You can see some of the top-ranked UK universities from last year. You can see our students are well represented and are progressing on to some of those universities, places like London School of Economics, the University of Cambridge, University of Bath, Bristol there as well. So about 70% of our students every year will go on to a top 20 ranked UK university or a Russell Group UK university, which again is the group of around about 20 very highly regarded and prestigious UK universities. Okay, as we head down, you might just see some of the little areas here. We have a common room there for students to relax in. Quite a lot of students doing a bit of revision and relaxing between that. See some students just relaxing in the courtyard. But we will pop out into the main courtyard of the building, just so you guys can take a look. Hopefully you're still with me. You can see it's a beautiful, beautiful late winter's day here in the UK and in Cambridge. We have a temperature of about 15 degrees Celsius. Don't ask me what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's a lovely, beautiful, warm day. Spring is on the way here in the UK. And this is the main courtyard of the campus. Let me just come back a little bit just to show you the main building, which is Block A. It's a very large building, so we might struggle to get it all in, but hopefully you can see there. That's the hall we've just come from, the reception area. And looking up, you can see the main part of the building here, where we teach subjects like maths, chemistry, art. And then this is the boarding house for our younger students. So this is Abbey House. So if you're a student or a parent of a student who's aged between 13 and 16 years doing the Year 9 programme or the GCSE programme, and you're coming to live in our boarding house, this is where you'll be living in the first year. Older students do live off campus in one of our 2 off-campus boarding houses. Unfortunately, you can't see them from this view, but literally our boarding houses off campus are right behind the hall there. One is about a 1-minute walk from the school and one is about 5 minutes walk from the school. You can see over here, this is another block, Block B. No accommodation over there, but we teach subjects like business, economics, accounting, biology. We obviously have a really strong medicine preparation program, which I know someone asked me about. That's the headquarters of our medicine preparation program, and also humanities subjects there, like history, geography, and politics. On the ground floor, we also have a study area. So in the other block, obviously, we had a bit more of a social space for students to relax in, a common room. Over there, we have a quiet study space. And unfortunately, because it's sunny, you can't quite see. If it wasn't sunny and it was a bit darker, you'd be able to see some students in there, obviously working hard and revising because we have exams going on at the moment. On the left-hand side, just as we look at Block B, there's also a medical centre. So we have a matron and a medical team based here on campus. They make sure students are healthy. They do health checks. They sign students up with the local doctor and the National Health Service. And the medical centre's there. So if students have any medication or if they need any medical care while they're here, we're able to provide that on campus. Hopefully they never need anything, but it's good to know that that support is there. Also in each boarding house, there are also medical staff as part of the house parent teams who support students. So as we look around, you can see just over straight ahead of us there, that's the dining room. We're going to pop there in a minute. The campus, pretty much where you learn, is between these 2 buildings. So you can see we have a gate there. Students can access the buildings with their cards. It's all controlled access, so only our students and staff can access. We're also down a private road here. So hopefully you can tell, although there are cars parked there, that's our staff. And we don't get too much traffic. Just to the right, where you can see on the right-hand side there, if you follow that road down, you'll come to Homerton College, which again is one of the colleges of the University of Cambridge and is a very good neighbour of us. We do lots of events at Homerton College. Our students will go and attend lectures there. So we have access to the University of Cambridge right on our doorstep, which is a great advantage for our students. We're about 1 kilometre. Let me just flip around because I like to talk to the camera occasionally just to give you a bit of a different view. So we're about 2 kilometres away from the main city centre here in Cambridge. Anyone who's been to Cambridge, it's a city of about 150,000 people. It is growing quite fast, but it's about 150,000 people. It has really good transport links with London. The main city centre, like I say, is about 2 kilometres from here. So it would take about 30 minutes to walk, about 10 minutes on a bicycle. Obviously, Cambridge is a very well-known cycling city. And there are buses at the top of the road which go pretty much every few minutes and again take between 5 and 10 minutes depending on the traffic to get into the city centre. The main train station here in Cambridge, there are actually 2 train stations with another one on the way, but the main train station where you catch trains to London and around the country, that's probably about a 15-minute walk away, about a kilometre away from here as well. So nice and central for us. This area, like I say, is just outside of the main city centre with all the traditional college buildings. There are lots of University of Cambridge buildings everywhere in Cambridge, but we're about 2 kilometres away from the main city centre for the shops, restaurants, but there are also shops and restaurants close by. There's a leisure park close by which has restaurants, shops and cinemas and a bowling alley, so our students will take advantage of that as well. Cambridge is very safe, quite a small city. It's not London, it's not a huge city, but it's also not the countryside. So it gives a good balance for those students who maybe want to be a bit more focused, a bit more concentrating on their studies. We have some students just behind me saying hello. Concentrating on their studies. So they can go round the clock and go to cinema, they can have a walk around and experience some of the amazing parks, museums that we have in the studies and work hard, but also want to have that little bit. So that's Cambridge if you haven't, going to flip around. So we're going to walk back in. So as we head down, we're just heading towards the dining room here. We've just had the breakfast service, so the team are getting ready for lunch. But what we're going to do, we're just going to dip in on the right-hand side and then head into the dining area, trying to avoid this table that's been laid out. Okay. So before we head into the dining area, you can see displayed here, we have some of our clubs and activities that students can take part in. We have about 50 different extracurricular clubs and activities that take place every week, and you can see some of them there. We have tennis, cooking club, karaoke club. Hopefully you can see some of the different clubs there as well. And every day of the week, pretty much, including weekends, we have clubs and activities. You can see a lot of fun clubs going on at the weekends. And we also do trips and activities outside of Cambridge. We take students to other parts of the UK, and we have trips to other places in Europe. We do an Iceland trip every year as well. So there's a lot going on extracurricularly for students to get involved in, alongside the clubs that take place after school, say in the evenings or the mornings. We also have enrichment. So every Wednesday afternoon, obviously today's Thursday, but yesterday afternoon, as part of the daily school timetable, students will go to enrichment activities, clubs and activities in the afternoon. So they could be academic clubs, so STEM clubs, science club, for example, entrepreneurship clubs. They can be more creative, so music clubs, art clubs, photography clubs, dance, drama, and they can be sports club as well. So things like rowing on the river, football, basketball, tennis, running clubs. There are lots and lots of different clubs that students will take as part of their curriculum, as part of their weekly timetable, but also they'll have the opportunity to do these clubs outside of that time as well. So what we want is for our students to have a really good balance of hard work to achieve well in their academic exams, whether that's GCSE, A levels, the foundation program, but we also want them to have these clubs and activities and interests outside of the study. So they have time to relax, have time to build friendships, have time to enjoy other activities and pursuits, but also to prepare them as well-rounded individuals to go on to university and be very successful. I'm going to flip around because you don't want to see my face, you want to see what's going on. So as we head into the dining room, you can also see, I talked about trips and activities. You can see one of our recent residential trips. This was actually for our younger students, for our GCSE students and our Year 9 students. And they actually went to the Lake District, to Windermere last year. And we'll do that again this year. You can see they're doing some amazing activities while they learn, getting to experience a beautiful part of the UK in the Lake District that has a lot more hills and mountains than we do here in Cambridge, which is very flat. So they're getting to see other parts of the UK. They're getting to bond, they're getting to do team building activities alongside their studies. And you can see here, we've got some amazing things like stand-up paddle boarding, caving and bouldering there, and walking and hiking. And you can see some rock climbing there as well. So we do encourage our students to have lots and lots of exciting pursuits and activities. Like I say, we do lots of trips and activities outside of the main teaching times. One of the good things about our school is students don't have to leave at the weekends. We maintain, obviously, the boarding, and there's lots of activities at the weekends and trips, and also during half terms. So at Easter, obviously, students can leave the school, but they don't have to. And we will put on trips and activities, like I say, into places like Europe, places like Rome, Paris, Barcelona, but we also do trips to Iceland. Our students have just come back in February half term from Iceland. Okay, so we're going to pop into the dining room. You can see it there. This is where our students have their breakfast, lunch and dinner. And you can see we've just had breakfast, but the lunch options you can see in front of us there. There are always two main, a meat dish, a vegetarian dish, and then sides, things like pasta, jacket potatoes as well for students to choose from. This menu changes every day, and then it switches every week. So we're obviously in the spring menu at the moment, and then we'll move on into the summer menu after April. And again, the meals will change. There are different options for lunch and for dinner. Obviously, breakfast is like a buffet where you can select what you want, similar to what you'd have in a hotel, but everything's prepared fresh on site. You can see the team getting ready with the preparation for the lunch, and it's designed to be nutritious, healthy, balanced meals. You can also see we're also setting up here as the students come down at break. There'll be a tasting table. We do this to kind of encourage students to explore different ingredients, different dishes, to try something new and to showcase different ingredients. And you can see this one, we have mushrooms. So there's going to be a range of mushroom dishes for students to try and to experience. One of them is obviously going to be a soup. Here we go. You can see the mushroom dishes. And again, this is just to help students try different things, but also to teach students about health, nutrition, healthy eating, balanced eating, which obviously is really important for our students. We provide everything they need, but as they go on to university and as they're going to become adults, we want them to be able to make healthy choices and be able to do things like cook for themselves and understand about making healthy choices and eating balanced meals. So we'll take a spin round. I'll just show you kind of some of the food preparation for the lunch. Everything will be laid out when students come down for lunch, and they'll be able to choose what they want and be served. The sides would be here, and also things like desserts and fruit as well. Fresh fruit is available for students. We also have everyday fresh salad bars, and you can see some of the salad will be out there. Obviously not out now because we don't want it to spoil before the students are coming down. You can see there'll be fresh salad there for the students to help themselves to. And also this is where the pasta, the jacket potato bar will be, so students can help themselves to pastas, jacket potatoes with different toppings. And also a soup station as well, where students can have the special soup of the day, which today will be a sweet corn and noodle soup. And also there'll be fresh baked breads here as well, so you can actually see we have the bakery, and the breads will be laid out for students. Okay, let me just flip around so you can see me. Okay, so like I say, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. That's included in the boarding with us for our students. Everything's prepared fresh, healthy, nutritious, balanced. You can see there's quite a wide range of choice every day for students. And again, in the evening, there'll be a completely different menu. So again, we do produce some British dishes. You might have seen there was a fish dish there, so like fish and chips. But we also have international dishes. One of the questions we were asked in the pre-registration was, do we have halal dishes? Yes. So all the meat that is relevant for halal is halal. Okay, so that is provided for students. So there's no problems there. Okay, so you can just see, I'll flip around a little bit and have a little look. This is the main dining area. Students can also come in here and relax outside of the main dining times. We do have a little coffee bar over here, which I'll show you in a moment. But we have 2 lunch services. So the idea is that students will come down either just after 12 or just after 1 o'clock, have their lunch as a 50-minute lunch slot, and then they can move back into their school day and back into lessons. We have 2 lunch slots because we have, like I say, around about 400 students. If we brought them all down at once, it would get very busy. We want students to be able to get their food, be able to go out, enjoy the fresh air. So 2 lunch service just makes that a little bit more manageable. Breakfast and dinner before and after school is much more relaxed. We have much more of an open slot, so students can come down when they want. Like I say, there's a lot of after-school activities and events happening around the school, so they don't have to rush down to grab food. They can wait till after that and have their food. Okay, we'll pop along, have a quick look at the coffee bar. You can see there's a range of snacks and things for students to choose here. They can grab tea, they can grab coffee. You can see we've got a matcha latte special this week. Fresh baked croissants and cookies for students to enjoy alongside healthy snacks as well. sides and sandwiches as well for students. If they don't like any of the hot dishes, they can swap for a sandwich, a panini or a wrap. And again, if they do want to purchase, say, some noodles, a soft drink or a coffee, that's not included in their provision that they have as part of the boarding. You can see actually some of the prices up there, but they can make payments for that separately. Perfect. And you can see as well, I'll try not to show too much because there's a few students around, but we also have a little seating area so students can relax here with a coffee and do a little bit of work. We have multiple spaces where students can come, relax, revise. Every student is different. Some students like to be in their own little space. Some students like to be in a dining room, in a coffee shop with lots of buzz going on. So we have spaces that students can use. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to head into the boarding room. Going to put that on me. There we go. Hopefully you can, no, it's not flipped. Hopefully you can see me. Okay, so we're going to head into the on-campus boarding here. This is Abbey House. So this is boarding for our younger students. So obviously we've only got about half an hour, so I'm only going to be able to show you this one, but I will talk you through the other boarding options as we go in. So we're going to pop in, and as we go around, I shall aim to flip this around so you can see what I see. Okay, so we're now into the boarding house. You can see we've gone from a lively environment with students to a very quiet environment. So these are the individual boarding rooms for students. I did have a question about the laundry, so I'll show you the laundry to make sure you can see that. So here's the laundry for Abbey House. Every boarding house that we have has a laundry on site, so students can wash and dry their clothes. The house parents will support students with that. And I got asked about the coin system. So we would have a system where students can make payments. I believe it's done on card, but I will have to check that. And they can top up the cards and make payments. Other boarding houses might have the coin system, but you can make payments for the laundry and come and use that as and when you want. The house parents that live with you will also help you if you're not sure how to use the machines or if you need any support. Okay. And you can see I won't poke my camera in there because there might be a student there, but we also have medical rooms in each boarding house. So you can see this is the medical room here for the students in Abbey House. We'll head down because I've got one of the rooms that I can show you, but you can also see some of the bios of some of our house parents there. So these are our team that live in with the students. They're not teachers. They just support the students outside of their lessons, organise activities, making sure they're getting up on time, making sure they're doing their homework, basically being parents. And some of the different activities. So we'll pop down into the spare room I can show you. Hopefully we'll be okay. I'll just double check. So we're going into G61 here. There wasn't anyone in here earlier when I checked. It's always good to double check. Hello, anybody in? Yeah. So just shut that behind us. Okay, so this is one of our boarding rooms here in Abbey House. This is a single room, so one student living in here. It's a standard room, so it's about the average size. As I spin around, I'll try and get everything in, but you can see single bed with linen that's provided, fresh towels, storage above the bed there, and also a reading light for students. There isn't a student living in here. We've just got it mocked up as a bit of a showroom. Study desk. So you can see you have the desk there with power, with a board there to write any information you need. You can put up posters, anything you want. We have a window there, so you can open up that window, get some fresh air. There's also a filter blind at the top, so obviously when the sun's shining, you can filter out the sun. And these curtains here are blackout curtains, so they give you a good night's sleep when they're closed. We have Wi-Fi in the boarding house, which is separate from the main school. That does cut off in line with the curfews, but students can access the Wi-Fi for calling home, for doing their work, for whatever they need it for. And clothes storage, obviously in the wardrobe, but we also have a safe in each room. So things like passports, BRPs, any cash that students want to keep, any personal items they want to keep safe, they can put in there and keep nice and safe and secure. Don't need cash on campus. And in fact, we are a cashless campus, but you can keep it in there if you need it elsewhere. And then the ensuite. So you'll see me, but hopefully you can see the bathroom. So basically, all the bathrooms are pretty much like this, unless there's special access for disabled students or students who need access needs. But you can see we have the shower, the basin with a nice mirror for getting ready, and the toilet. Okay, and again, These are clean for the students and pretty much look all the same. So every student has their own bathroom area in their room. We do have some twin rooms. So some students do share, but the vast majority of rooms across all of our boarding houses are single rooms like these. Okay, and this is Abbey House. So this would be a younger student, probably between the ages of 14, 16, most likely doing GCSEs. There we go. Okay, just going to check, make sure we haven't got any questions or anything like that. Everyone's still with us while I walk along. There we go. Can't see anything. We seem to have a lot of participants. So I hope everything's working. Now, this is the point where I head upstairs. We do, but we're just going to pop up to show you the location of the other boarding house, but also pop our head into one of the classrooms. So you can just see looking out into the courtyard where they've just been. This building just here behind, sorry, my hand's making it a bit blurry, but this building just here, you can just see it poking out the top there, the white building, that is Purbeck House. So that's one of our off-campus boarding houses. And you can see, even though it's off-campus, it's still very close. And we're on a private road here, so it's nice and close and nice and easy to accessible. The other boarding house that we have called Tripos Court, you might hear about, is just directly behind that. Students, when they come to school, will have to walk up onto the main road, so it takes a little bit longer, but it's a 5-minute walk. So everything is very close to the school. Okay, I'm just going to pop up into the boarding house. Again, and I think you're still with us, which is great. We'll pop in and flip around just so you can see. Okay. Boarding floor, there's about 20 rooms on this floor. This is actually a girls' floor, so as we go back, you can see this student here, Angela, is one of our female students. You can also, hopefully, as I see, just see, she's also a member of Zeus House. So when I talked about students being in houses based upon their age and where they live, our younger students are either wolves, so they're over in Zeus House, or they're eagles, the red house. Okay, so they're brought together through that. Girls live separately from boys, boys live separately from girls. Students can come together in communal areas, but we segregate all of our boarding houses by gender. And you can see actually this student here is actually an eagle. So there we go. So the two main boarding houses for this room. Also, we control access, especially for the younger students. GCSE students, year 9 students have really busy days. They're pretty full up. So we don't allow them back into the room unless there's a specific need during the school day. The school day generally runs from about 9 o'clock in the morning, and students are out before that for breakfast. And they'll be back, say, from 4 till about 4:45 in the afternoon. They won't come back to their room. It enables me to come in and have a look. It enables us to kind of come and clean the rooms. It makes sure that we know where our younger students are and they're in lessons at all times. Older students, especially when on things like study leave, will have access back to their rooms whilst they're not in classes. So it changes slightly for the older students. I'm just going to flip around just to show you one of the areas, the communal areas in here. So we had a look in the single bedroom. And like I say, most students have their own single rooms, which is, we also like to provide communal areas in the boarding house. So the idea is, yes, you have your own space, that's wonderful, but we also want to give you a space where you can come together with other students, of activities and different events to take place in the club, whether that's cooking, whether it's a pizza night. It's just to get students together to make sure everyone's interacting together, everyone's happy, no one's singled out, because we know for international students, one of the first things we have to do when students come and join us in September is make sure that students have security, they're building good friendships, they feel safe and secure in their location, they can contact home when they need to, they have good food. That's what we can build the academics on. If we don't have that, it's really hard to build the academics. So we do a lot of work and we provide a lot of spaces to allow that. So this is kind of a little bit of a study area. We do have communal areas like common rooms, more social areas in each boarding house for students to use. Okay, so we're going to walk down a little bit. Pretty much on past, so we'll probably see if we can pop into one of the classrooms As we go down, each boarding floor has a different colour. The lights are a little bit softer. So the idea is the lights are a little bit softer in the boarding. You can see we have some lovely pictures, some student artwork. And this is designed to make it feel a little bit more homely, a little bit more relaxed as an environment for you. And then when you go into school, which is literally at the end of this door, you can also see some of the house parents who live here. So and obviously within the house system, we have the housemasters who are part of a wider degree view of each student. We know how they're performing academically. We know how the health issues we need to be aware of, and we can provide that support and also that feedback to you as parents, as you as agents, as you as students, to give you that 100% support. And ultimately, our goal is to give you the support you need to achieve those high academic scores and progress onto top universities. You can see there's also information about things that are happening around the school, places of worship nearby. Obviously, some students who need to go and worship, we can make sure we fit that into the school day and we support them in that. We're very, very flexible to our students' needs. Okay, so I'm going to pop into school. I'm tapping my badge there, and then that opens the door for me so I can pop out. And we're now in school. So essentially, let me just flip around when I'm walking down, boarding, and we also have the corridors into the school and different lessons. Where we are now is actually on the first floor. We have 6 floors in total and 5 floors of academics. This floor we have art, we have some chemistry, some physics, and we also do our academic English classes here as well. So I'm going to just flip it around so you can see some of the amazing student artwork. So you can see some of the amazing students' artwork that our students perform. There's a little tutor group there that's done a mural. And then as we head down, I won't pop my head in too much because I know they're doing quite a lot of exam prep. You can see we also have a lot of students winning national competitions, boarding competitions, and we encourage our students to take part in lots of different academic competitions because, again, this is another way of students showcasing their skills beyond the curriculum as well. So whether that's in mathematics, whether that's in art, whether that's in chemistry, we have a lot of support for students to achieve really good success in Olympiads and competitions. You'll notice as we walk down, we also have bathrooms. We have water fountains for students. They can come and refill their water bottles, get refreshment. Just because I don't think there's anyone in here, if I can find my keys. Give me 1 second. And we'll see if we can just show you one of the science spaces. So we've had a very quick brush past art. And let's pop into one of our physics labs. So you can see we don't have a class going on in here at the moment. But this is very typical of one of our science labs. All sciences are taught in laboratories like this. So you can see a very practical space as we go towards the end of the space. We have things like the grapnel trays, fume cabinets, so students can work with chemicals in small groups, and lots of equipment. Each science has a technician who provides the equipment, sets up experiments, and helps students, support students in that. And you can see this is the class. Down the front there, we have the teaching screen. We also have a writing wall as well. So the teacher will display the lesson notes on there. Quite often we'll hook up cameras. In fact, if you can just see just in front of there, there is a little camera hooked up to a book so that the teacher can display that on the screen for the students. And this will also display to students laptops that they bring into the classes. Some of the boards there that students will write answers on. So quite often when the teacher will ask a question, we'll give the students these little whiteboards and they have to write the answer and hold it up just to encourage them to answer the question rather than hide it at the back of the class. And you can see the average class size for us on the A-level program. GCSE program is a bit smaller, between 7 and 10 students. So it's a small class environment, which means you get a lot of practical work here in sciences, but also a lot of interaction with the teacher and other students, which is obviously key for our students to help them achieve well. There we go. So I'll just point out a couple of other quick features. These screens, it's not on at the moment because there's not a class near, but students will tap their cards, their student cards here to register into each class. We also have a phone tray here, so students will put their phones in here so that they're not distracting them in class. And then also as well, we have a big focus on English. So in every single class, we are learning obviously the subject, but we're also learning the language of the subject, so the vocabulary of physics, of economics, because that is really key. A lot of our students have studied in English language schools, but they might have learned slightly different vocabulary, slightly different language, especially if they studied in American English schools. So we want to make sure that they understand the right terminology. They know the answer to the question, but it's really key that their English enables them to access the curriculum and to achieve the top grade. So there's a lot of work there, and you can potentially see as well, up there we have our Speak English poster. Okay, and obviously I mentioned there's the little camera looking at the book, so the teacher can focus on that area if he wants to, or he could do an experiment under here and it would display on the screen and also on the students' laptops themselves. And this is the view from the front of the class. You're now the teacher. There we go.